there was one thing we always said about when the pandemic hit, that we were not going to see a lot of, well, Brexit consequence stories. And you saw that very recently this summer. Obviously, we've had the now second summer in a row of polluted beaches and, the sewer-ridden beaches that have again been caused by Brexit and the lowering of the regulations that the water companies no longer have to follow. But also, we saw the travel chaos. And trust me, that will also be a regular summer occurrence. But there were going to be always small outlier stories of different things happening that maybe we didn't maybe we didn't foresee. The the Brexit backers will claim, I had no idea this was it. And we have one such story for you today. And before we get into laughing at this guy, because it is in a way, as always, when we've covered these stories, it is very funny. But I've got to say, I do have a bit of sympathy for this guy. This guy is blind and he needs to use a guide dog. But of course, because we are now a third country, there are rules for that guide dog, and they have to go through, meaning that he cannot take, his guide dog now through like he used to. So he can't go to sort of France anymore. And in a way, this guy, he was a big Brexit backer, and he says as much. But I hate to tell you, guy, I'd hate to tell you, but we told you so. So, before we go quickly to cover the story, please do remember to hit the like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below there are links to my Patreon page and a one-off link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can, buy me coffee. And as always, thank you very much for all of you who do help the channel. And of course, down below there's the YouTube thank you button. And of course, there's the YouTube subscription button as well, where you get and join the Pony Club, and you get all sorts of bells, whistles, and whatnots as well. So, onwards we go today to covering this that popped up in the London Economic, with the title of Brexit Backer Left in the Cold by New Rules That Make It Impossible for Him to Enter France with a Guide Dog. A Brexit supporter has been left dismayed by new rules that make it impossible to enter France with his guide dog. David, who is the president of the European Guide Dog Federation, told Isabel Oakenshaw that his freedoms have been severely restricted since the vote to leave the EU. Well, we were telling you that, my friend. David, we told you that. We told you, I don't know how many countless times, that if we leave these institutions, that we leave these agreements, we leave these deals, what do you think's going to happen? And yet he acts surprised that this happened, that he's had this freedom removed. Well, yet, of course, because that's what you wanted, David. That's what you were all saying you wanted. And as we always go back to 2016, if you were to literally go in and take, 10 random people who voted leave from all across the country, they would all have very, very different ideas of what leave actually meant, or what the true objective for Brexit was. For some people, it was just to spit in David Cameron's eye. They didn't really want to leave the European Union or single market at all. But to some people, that's how they view the vote. Other people believed the leave lie that was, oh yes, we would leave the European Union, but we would stay in the single market and customs union, because you know what's coming. My favorite line I always like to quote from Daniel Hannan: only a fool would leave the single market and customs union. But anyway, back to it. So from the 1st of January 2021, England, Scotland, and Wales have become a Part 2 listed country for pets to travel to Europe, meaning that dog owners need a number of additional requirements, including obtaining an animal health certificate ahead of each journey. And according to the campaign group of Euroblind, the new rules do discriminate against persons with disabilities, because they have no choice but to travel with their animal companion. And remember, this might be even the case of it is sort of discriminatory, but these are the rules that Brexit happened, and none of this consideration was given, especially during the transition. Did you hear anything about this? No, because we knew how animals were going to be treated. Even in the case with and cases like this, I don't remember this ever coming up. So this may very well be just one of the unintended consequences of Brexit. But remember, this was the oven-ready deal, the perfect oven-ready deal. But there you go. David said he had written numerous letters to MEPs and has been in touch with the Brexit negotiator, Lord Frost, who was unable to assist him. He says that guide dogs now have a lower status than horse races due to certain special regulations. Watch his heartbreaking story and fall below. And it is. I do agree. You can go and sort of watch the video yourself, but it is a very heartbreaking story. That he has generally had one of his freedoms taken away from him, and this isn't the EU taking away his freedom. This is Brexit. This is the very thing that he championed for and wanted. And of course, Isabella Oakeshott on her tweet saying, "This is David, who is totally blind with his guide dog Jimbo. Since Brexit, they've been unable to go to France because France think Jimbo and other British guide dogs are a biohazard. Remember, it's not French. It's not French, Izzy. It's the EU and the rules which you said you wanted to leave." Now, of course, can this be sorted? Can we negotiate access so that David and Jimbo can go to France in the future? Absolutely. Absolutely. But that's going to have to take negotiations. That's going to have to mean people sitting down. And so far, we have a government and a situation brewing in Northern Ireland. Very much still, it's been on a lower simmer than sort of past recent months, I suppose you could say, for obvious reasons. But it can be negotiated. It can be sorted out. But that would mean you would have to accept other things as well. And the problem is that's where people like you, Oakeshott, don't like. And you would call it a betrayal. And I like your ending for this, that 17.4 million people did not back Brexit for this. Well, we told you there would be rules. We told you what the rules would be for animals, for pets, for pet passports, which was probably what this ultimately ties into, the issue of pet passports. Because I guarantee you, Jimbo would have traveled under like a sort of pet passport. And of course, because we've left the EU, that system no longer exists. And we expressly told people constantly what this actually means. And, poor David and Jimbo can't go to, France anymore. But we told you so. We told you what the consequences would be, but you didn't listen. You just branded it as just, oh, that's just Project Fear. Well, here you have Project Reality affecting David and Jimbo. And yes, there is a lot of, well, he got what he voted for type of thing, humor to it. I get it. I do get the, the fact that this is funny, and I do get a lot of people's responses are going to be, well, he got what he voted for. But at the same time, it's sort of sad that again he feels that he has lost a particular freedom that he once had. But we only had that freedom, and my response would be to him would be that we only, or David and Jimbo only had that freedom because we were in the EU and because we were part of that bigger union that was able to do those things. So that will be my response to sort of David, and probably a pat on the head for his guide dog Jimbo. Although they say don't pat guide dogs, so of course. But so as always, thank you very much for watching, and of course, please remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below there are links to my Patreon page and a one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee. And as always, thank Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all next time.